What is up? What is up? What is up, y'all? It's another day, another time, and another week for a Word from the Web podcast. You all, I am excited about tonight's episode. I'm excited about today's episode. I have a good friend, a sister, like a major boss on here with me on today. This young lady and I met each other just the day, just yesterday, and literally we couldn't be any closer. This is family to me. She can't get rid of me. Her name is Medina. She is a business owner. She's a mental health therapist. She is a nurse. I mean, you name it, she does it. She's a straight up boss. And I'm excited to have her with us on a word from the web. So, first off, first thing first, y'all know how we started off. We're going to start it off with a little bit of the theme song. And then, as soon as the theme song gets done, you all, ladies and gentlemen, the next voice and the next face you will see on this podcast with me on today is none other than my good friend, Miss 28, Medina. So you all, and I know y'all don't know what 28 means, but trust me, y'all get to know it. So let's go. What is up? What is
Hello.
up, beautiful? How are you, Miss Beautiful? How are
Thank
you?
you. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Pastor 23?
I am well, Miss 28. So for those of you who've been living under a rock for years, like I had until yesterday, I'm gonna let this beautiful young lady introduce herself, and then we're gonna get right into this interview. And then from there, what we're gonna do is we got a special announcement that we will be announcing at the end of this episode. So y'all get ready. So Miss 28, Miss Medina, come on ahead, introduce yourself to our fans over here.
Thank you so much. I have to turn to the left because that's where you are. But
Mhm.
my name is Medina. Thank you so much for having me. And I might be a little bit nervous. Now, usually I'm not, but I might be a little bit, just a little bit. But regardless of that, my name is Medina. I am a God's daughter first and foremost. I also want to say I have a daughter, an older daughter that's 20. I'm a registered nurse. I have had the pleasure of serving the community for now over 10 years. My background is in psych, ER, emergency room, and trauma, as well as for psych children. Also, currently, I'm working in case management as well. And then my new passion actually is becoming a boutique owner. So I am a boutique owner for Shop As She Say He Say.com. My business is She Say He Say LLC. This business has been in existence for almost 2 years. February of 2023 will make it 2 years. And so pretty much what my goal or objective is to, with my business, as well as me being a registered nurse, is to help heal people on one end, but also help women feel good, look good, and all that great stuff. So that's me all in a nutshell.
And you all, she is very humble with it. But y'all, let me tell y'all how I ended up linking up with this beautiful young lady. Because y'all know she is 28. I mean, her daughter's 20, but I mean, she's 28. So, I mean,
Yeah. So should we tell them that? Should we tell them where that come from?
yes, definitely.
Okay.
We can drop it. Go
So
on ahead.
something I've been doing since I'm 28. I've always been 28 for 16 years now. Um, I'm actually 44, but I've been 28 for 16 years. So
I
when
don't
I said
believe it.
that
I need to
to
correct
him, he
you.
said, I don't believe you. He said, I don't believe you 28. And so when he told me his age and he said he was 33, I said, well, I don't believe you 23. So that's what we pretty much have it is landed like that. That's how we communicate. But
Oh, definitely.
you know,
That's our lingo right there.
right,
And,
right,
and let me tell
exactly.
y'all, we ended up linking up thanks to TikTok. I woke up yesterday morning and TikTok recommended her live. I went on to her live, and from the first moment I was on there, we just automatically clicked. Like it was like meant to be. It was definitely a godsend. I DM'd her my number, told her I wanted to get on the podcast, DM'd her my number. Right after she got off of her live video, I do a Bible study at 9:30 a.m. I didn't start my Bible study till 9:37 because we was on the phone for an hour, literally on the phone just setting it up. And then right
Mhm.
after we get off the Bible study at 9:30 a.m., at 10:30, as soon as I get off Bible study, we back on the phone for another 2 hours.
Mhm.
So it's like from the first moment we met each other, from like the first moment we met each other, we knew that this was meant to be.
Right, right. It was something this the chemistry, you know, how you just mesh with people and everything like that. Just the chemistry of it. And just to kind of piggyback on what he said with TikTok, I had told him that TikTok had been suppressing my videos. So for him to say, and I had people telling me, why you no longer on the FYP? Like, why I don't see you on the FYP? And I said, I don't know. I'm shadow banned. So and shadow ban is when people just go through your multiple videos without really watching it all the way through and just liking it. So it'll cause to mess up your algorithm. So I've been in this messed up algorithm for a while. So for him to say it was on the FYP that suggested, it was just like wow, because usually for the last I think month or so, I haven't really had much traffic coming to my TikTok page.
So once again, this was just like a meant to be, guys. I let me just let them see each other so that they can connect and let them work together. And you all, when I tell y'all there's so many things we got coming, which we'll
Yeah.
get into in a little bit. But first, let's get into this interview, y'all. So first off, let's start it off with he said, she said, boutique. How did
Mhm.
that get started?
Well, my shopper he said well initially it was shopper she say he say. What how it actually progressed was when I came on TikTok, because I'm a registered nurse, I started out talking about health and wellness, and it wasn't really picking up traction. And so one day I decided to come on live to talk about a personal situation that I was dealing with. And that developed into me and two other people actually having a live TikTok show 3 days a week. Um, Unfortunately, that did not, progress. However, fortunately, I was able to meet someone else who became a mentor to me, and we just pretty much picked up from there. And then some things changed with that as well, into where it pretty much, because I actually had a Facebook group. I was doing a whole lot. And so once I pretty much decided to just do things on my own, it got heavy for me, between work and different other things that I'm doing in the community and everything. But through that process, I actually had merch shopping. I mean, she said, he said merch, and it was with a third vendor. And then I kept that actually up, and everything like that. really got some good traction with that, you know. And then one day I was like, you know what? And I'm just gonna be real with y'all. You know, I'm I'm a full figure woman. I would say a curvy full figure woman. And so you know, I was on the phone with my
And
cousin,
ain't
and I
nothing
said,
wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
no, ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong
As I
with it.
always tell people, only person that
Right.
wants a bone is a dog, and he's gonna bury it once he gets done with it.
But you know, all women is beautiful because you know, my
Yeah.
merchandise, you know, the size range, but I just felt that there wasn't. I wanted to provide something. I didn't come from having a silver spoon in my mouth or anything like that, and I wanted to be able to provide clothing to women that was not only affordable but fashionable. And I really felt like that when it come to the full figure woman, I just felt like, you know, in clothing, all they're doing is taking a bunch of fitted sheets, flat sheets, and comforters, you know, putting them together and then want us to wear it. And I just said, no, that's not I said the cat. Uh-huh. And so what I did was I told my cousin I want to start a actual business, a women clothing line online. And that's what She Say He Say Boutique developed. Again, I still had Shopper She Say He Say for my merch. But when I stopped doing my live show on TikTok and on Facebook, that kind of dwindled down. So and then fast forward, I actually moved everything to shop at she say he say.com, which is what I've been pretty much functioning now. So you know, for the last few months or so, because I was doing what She Say He Say boutique, you know what I mean? So it is a women's clothing boutique. Sizes range from size 1 to size 22. Or small to 4 or 5 XL. And so we have some really great pieces that's there. But that's what the background is for She Say He Say. She Say He Say LLC started with my mouth. I'm talking about talking, y'all. Now don't do that. My God, today we're not gonna talk. Me talking is what developed She Say He Say, and then that ultimately led to me actually doing health and wellness education as well as selling my clothing. So there we go. This actually is something that I'm selling right now. It's a symbol sweater. Right now 50% off, y'all. Today it ends. I don't know when it's gonna drop, but okay, go ahead. Let me get comfortable.
Look,
It
look.
only took
If
me. Look, I was
y'all
holding
can
it in,
see
trying to
why
be all professional.
y'all can see why C and I connect so well because C is just as crazy as I am, and I absolutely love that. Like, look, this is family, like I said. So, what was
Mhm.
some of the challenges that you faced as like you got started in this business, like as far as selling merch and all of that? What were some of the challenges that you faced being a woman, and as far as on top of that, being an African American woman in a
Mm.
pretty much male dominated field? What were some things that you faced?
Um, and that's interesting that you say male dominated because what a lot of people don't know, if you do the research when it comes to fashion, it is a lot of um male creators for like Balenciaga, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, you know, those are a lot of it is a lot of background Gucci, you know. So that's funny how you say that. But the challenges that I faced initially, you know, I didn't really know where to begin. So I did a lot of Googling. And Googling can be good, but Googling could also be bad, right? Because, you know, I'm big on having credible resources, but a lot of times with vendors, you just don't know. So starting out, I did lose a lot of money because what I would do is when I seen something I like, I would immediately just order it. And some stuff was coming from overseas. And so when I received the merchandise, I might have ordered $500 worth of items, and it's like they just not up to par. So I'm not going to sell it. So now I'm out of $500 because a lot of some of the vendors don't. The vendors I use now do returns, but some of the ones that I've used in the past didn't. So what you got is what you got. So that's one of the challenges was really trying to the money, investing in the money to get the merchandise and stuff like that. I really learned head on about doing like pre-orders, or and now what I do now to kind of combat that is, if I see pieces I like, I'll order it first for me to look at, that out, in my size, and then if I know the quality is great, then I'll order it in bulk. Also another challenge I face, and I'm just going to be very clear, for me, there are a lot of young and also middle-aged women that have their own business that's all throughout social media. And so being someone who's just now stepping her foot into, because I know all about when it comes to nursing and stuff, but this is something different. I reached out to a lot of different women, Black women to be exact, and really didn't get, either got pushback or no response, seeing that my something was read. And I'm not going to say I get it, because I don't get it. I feel like there's always room for an opportunity for someone to reach back and remember where you come from, because when people reach out to me, even though I'm not on the scale of where some of these other owners are yet, I still give them information. I do a live on TikTok, you know what I mean, and everything. So that was another challenge too, not knowing really what to, when it comes to some of the smaller things, like what would be a good thing, or what are some of the I would have loved to know some of the pros and cons that they face, you know what I mean, to kind of help keep me from going through that. But it's all a lesson learned, so it's fine. And then also trying to get customers to buy into, to realizing that customers have to buy into you. And if they buy into you, they're going to buy in what type of merchandise you have. And so I'm now picking up to have that regular revenue more consistently. It's not always, some days I get sales, some days I don't, some days I get 2, some days I get 10, some weeks I get, it varies. But advertising and trying to get people to pick you over someone else, that right there was a huge challenge for me when it came to that. And then also a big challenge was the doubt and not having faith. You know, um, for me, there were times where I may say, God is good. Like, I know, God, you're going to have it, but I don't believe what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So then things ain't happening because you ain't even believing in what you saying. So how you going to expect for God to put things right if you don't even believe what you right? So when I really done some healing, from a recent situation, I'm a mental health advocate, and I actually recently had a situation where I made an attempt to unalive myself, but we can get into that later. But after that situation happened, that is when it's like I was like reborn. Like I was just like, a lot of things were just clicking with me, especially with God. Um, and once I realized that I have to have that mindset and understand the industry, that's what helped me overcome that challenge of having loyal customers.
Let's jump into this mental health
Okay.
because I believe that like this is something that in the Black community, African American community, let's be honest, it is
Yeah.
something that is taboo.
Hmm.
It's something that we look at as we don't want to talk about it. If
Right.
somebody mentions about therapy, first thing we think in African American community is, oh, they crazy.
Right. Right.
In all honesty, when our other counterparts, they'll go to therapy in a heartbeat, and they're not looked
Right.
at as crazy.
Right.
So, and then when you look at what happened to the young brother on the Ellen show,
Right.
Twitch,
Yes. Rest in heaven. May he rest in
yes,
heaven. Yes.
please rest in heaven. When you look at that situation, and the first thing that people always say is, "Oh, he looked so happy throughout his
Right.
life. I never knew that he was going through that." Can we break down like why it is that a lot of times people are good at masking their pain?
Well, me myself, and I'm on a journey of healing, and with my healing, I know I have to be transparent. for me,
Mm-hmm.
um, whew, all right.
Take your time.
So I suffer from clinical depression and generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder. And I'm a high functional depressant. And what that means is you won't know I'm depressed because that's how well I mask it. I still get up every day. I still work. If I got to go to the store, if I need to do something. So I'm still doing what I need to do for the day, but inside I'm broken. You know, when it gets quiet, that's when I'm crying. That's when those thoughts start coming in. You know,
Right.
that's when everything, because when you're high function or function depressing, you're doing everything to not really think about the depression or not feel down. But sometimes it overtakes you, you know, and you have those bouts. Like there are times where in one moment I can say, "Oh, I feel like fixing me something to eat," but then it seems like soon as I get the pot to fix it, immediately I get sad. Like I just get a feeling of I don't have any interest to do it anymore. And so then now it's a matter of motivating myself to go ahead and fix you something to eat because you know you need to eat. And so that's definitely something that is very prevalent in the African American community, in which therapy is very helpful. Um, for myself, in the situation I had where I made an attempt to unalive myself this year, for my birthday, um, I had went through a lot. My daughter has went through some things personally. She lost her father a week before her graduation.
Mm.
I was still grieving. I grieved for 4 years with my father because remember, like I never had that time to just sit and progress. You know, when you work these jobs, they give you 3 days of bereavement and think that's supposed to help. And so all types of stuff was going through. And the time that my daughter father passed away, which was very unexpected from being killed in a motorcycle accident, someone hit him head on. Um, I was already out of work for my own mental health because I was
Mm.
I was tired, I was broken down. So when that happened, mentally, physically, spiritually, I couldn't even really be there for my own child because I was already going through something. So I remember going through counseling, and the counselor, when I was telling the counselor, she said, "Don't feel bad about that. You have to be honest with what's going
Transparency.
on." Right. And so, but I thank God that when I started the healing and things like that, I thank God that I was able to be there for her when she started going through the grieving, because she stayed in anger for a while and then she started moving through the different steps of grieving. But when it came to the time where I wanted to unalive myself, and I had a very, very detailed um, on TikTok about this. And I told people, I said, you know, when when you when you are going through that process, you're not thinking about God. When you're so deep to where you're ready to go, you're not thinking about God. Because if you were thinking about God, you wouldn't even want to make that step. And so I talked about this on my live because I told people I feel y'all, I get it. You want somebody, it's like you're on the street and all you got to do is take 10 more steps, and the name of the street is called the S word. And
Mm.
once you make that right, you good. You ain't thinking about God. You ain't thinking about your faith. You know, for me, I wasn't thinking about anything like that. I wasn't thinking about my daughter just lost her father. That's the
Okay.
mental illness. You
Yeah.
understand? She lost her father the year before, but here I am, and I'm so mentally, I'm just unhealthy mentally, that I'm not, I can't rationalize all of those things. I can't rationalize to say, God help me through it. I'm so broken down, heavy mentally, I just can't do it. I don't have any energy to do it. the pain is so deep. I just can't do it. And so I remember when I decided to do that and everything. And I remember being in the chair, like I could see it was like an out of body experience, and I could see myself leaning back in the chair, and automatically I was, my eyes is closed, but I could see people. I could see or feel people. I could hear something. And I felt someone, that whenever you do something like that, they do the sternum rub. And I seen someone doing that, but I didn't feel it. The second time, that's when I heard God say, "Get up. Get up." What do you like? Like literally, I was just laying back, and it was like they was just trying to, and I'm looking at myself, and I heard God say, "Get up." And when I got up, y'all, when I got up, I was still like this, but when I got up, everything just flooded. I can't explain it. It was like I was just so, oh my God, y'all, I was just still so hurt. I was so tired. I could still feel that time when it happened. I just remember, and I remember the fire department and everyone that was there. Y'all would have thought the president was over here, y'all, because I had about 20. I had to find it. I don't know who called who. I don't know what called what. All I know was
they was there.
They was there. And the thing about it is, when God said get up, and I got up, but I was still just weak. I was just so weak, And I remember the fireman saying,
"Take your time. Take your time. Take your time." This is what this is all about, y'all. This is what this podcast is all about. It's about healing. It's about breaking chains. It's about breaking generational curses. It's about coming out of where you are previously at. This is what this is all about.
ooh. But
Come on, 28. Take your time.
I just remember him saying, "I got you. I got you. It's all right. It's all right." And they were so nice.
That's what you needed at that moment. You needed to hear those words, "I got you, and it's all right." Sometimes what God will do is He will bring people into our lives at that right moment to say the correct words that we need to hear. "I got you, and it's all right. You're going to make it through this."
Yes, God. And and once I overcame that, well, going through that process, and I shared that with my supporters and stuff on TikTok. Um, that is what I mean by you just never know, because everybody was so used to seeing me
Happy and go lucky.
smiling, right? Like you seen, like, yeah. So no one knew
The pain
what
you
I
was
was going on internally, not even my daughter. I know, I think she said, no, she did say something. She said she wasn't feeling right. She wasn't feeling right. I remember her telling me that she wasn't feeling right either. Well, when that time happened. But they were just so nice. Oh my God, it was so nice. I don't know. And the reason why I say that is because, nowadays in healthcare and with everything that's going on with
Thank
politics,
you.
religion,
Thank you.
racism and things like that, each and every one of them young men, and I'm not trying to say, no, I'm just gonna say what I have to say. Each and every one of those young men was Caucasian.
Hmm.
And for them, that wasn't nothing but God. Even if they was a different race, it doesn't matter. Just in general, them being people, but me being a black woman in that situation, having it was like it just made me it everybody ain't always about that, when it comes to
Race
that type
color.
of situation. Right. And so but that really, I had always talked about mental health, and always I would out first thing I say on my TikTok, how's everybody doing? How is y'all mental doing? How are y'all? Because it's very it's a challenge. It's a challenge when you're someone that's suffering from a mental health illness. And one thing about me is I don't play with no one playing. I don't play with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's not nothing to play with, you know. Um, so whenever I am in my live, I always say this is a safe space. I always tell people if it's a trigger, watch from the sky. That's something on TikTok I do. But and I also say I'm never gonna do anything that's gonna hurt, harm, or add to your trauma or pain. And let them know my live is a safe space so that people can come and express how they feel and talk about their own personal experiences and things like that. So
Yeah.
so that's definitely something that I'm gonna always continue to do is advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves and never judge anyone, you know. And I did talk to God about that, and I had to, man, I had to really do some self-reflecting, you know. I
Really.
had to really do, because I'm just like, well, you know, I know what I was going through, but God forgave me, you know. I don't know why I did this, but after everything happened, when stuff died down, I had a real, 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 real heart to heart with God. I'm talking about a real, and I was like, I want to record it because I want to be able to play this. So anytime that I might feel like possibly taking those 10 steps to make that right on that street, start with an
Mhm.
S, I'll think about it. You look at things, analyze it, or not even allow myself to be 10 feet, not even allow myself to even have that thought in my mind anymore. You know what I'm saying? Amen. Like that's what I'm working on now, is just healing within and just helping people who can't help themselves. As like I said, as a registered nurse, a mental health advocate, whatever I can do. I do this every day with my patients.
And she does. She does, y'all. She really does. I can be a witness as far as mental, where when I started off in the ministry, I can tell you honestly, within the first 3 years of the ministries, I experienced death back to back to back to back to back. And it was like always something constantly. And I remember my grandfather died within a year of me being in the ministry. I was
Mhm.
named after my grandfather. He was Reverend James Glover Sr. I'm James Glover III. Right
Mhm.
before he passed in the hospital room, he asked me to do the eulogy.
Mhm.
Now, anybody that knew my grandfather, you know that around South Central Kentucky area, the Kentucky area, statewide, district wide, all that, very well known. So I knew that funeral was going to be jam packed. And I'm like, here I am, a young boy, 18 years old, and I'm about to. Well, I was 19 at that point, 19 years old, and I'm about to be the one to give his eulogy. My Lord, are you sure you know what you're doing on this? Like me, of all people, me. I did it, and I'll never forget it. About that was in 2009, 2018. My grandmother passes away,
Mm.
and
Condolences.
my father told his family he will not be doing this eulogy. And they're like, well, we was gonna use him as an alternate. He said, no, I want to give him the opportunity to be a grandchild for once. I don't want to have him to have to worry about getting a eulogy together, preparing himself. Let him be a grandchild for once.
Mm.
My thing is, I am the second oldest of all the grandchildren. And I'm always the one that's kind of trying to play Superman for the rest of them. I'll have my moment later on, but I'm gonna be there for them. As the oldest boy, I'm gonna be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
So as the service went on, throughout the service, I had my moment at the very beginning of the service. I lost it, but got myself together, went up and did prayers I was asked to do. That was that. I'm like, all right, I done had my moment. I'm good. So towards the end of the service, my uncle had just finished the eulogy. I look back and I see two of my younger cousins back at balling. Well, at this point, I got to go into big cousin slash big brother mode. So I get up, go back at it where they at, put my arms around both of them. Both of them got their heads in my jacket and they're crying. So I got my head down as they're crying and I make a mistake. I look up. When I look up, they're rolling that casket out
Mm.
of the church.
Mm.
When I
Mm.
tell you, I don't know how I got out of that church. All I remembered was one of my older cousins, which is like a big sister to me, grabbed me and was walking me out. Bunch of people around me talking about it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's gonna be all right, it's gonna be all right. Finally, she got to him and she's like, "Give him some air, y'all. Like, let him have his moment. The more y'all are around him, the more he's gonna try to gather himself together. Let him have his moment. Like, let him have a moment." So finally, I got in the car and I didn't realize I needed that. But apparently, like I told somebody later on, I said, I said, don't get me wrong. I believe that was a combination of not being able to grieve any of these deaths that it came
Mm.
happen. I said, because
Mm-hmm.
every time I'm having to be the Superman, I'm having to be the strong one. I said, so finally, for once, I was able to kind of have my moment. I said, and when I had that moment, it was like, okay, look, I ain't got to hold nothing back now. Let me out. I've
Right.
been, man, I think sometimes, especially in the African American community, I feel that sometimes we try to put on the fake front, like we okay. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
time. That's why I told somebody a while back, they was talking about the COVID-19 and talking about how we was having to wear the mask all the time and all of that. And I told him, I said, well, to be honest, if we really want to be honest about it, some of us been wearing masks for most of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I said, we've been masking the pain, we've been masking the anxiety, we've been going to work acting like everything is cool, acting like everything is fine. But deep down, like we losing it.
Right. Right. Losing it, you breaking down, and it's still, I feel, I say COVID brought a dark cloud. That's how I feel. And it's still the residue of what we went through is still going on now, you know what I'm saying, along with other things as well. But like you said, that's a really, really good analogy. We do mask a lot of things. We really do.
Hmm.
Um, some of us are so prideful to where you don't want nobody to tell you anything. You just, or in denial and things like that. And it's
Facts.
unfortunate, it's unfortunate. But I would say, therapy is something that is helping me. Um, and also just being, I've always been, I'm the daughter of James Henry Taylor, okay? I've
Mm,
always been outspoken like my father. Well, no, let me take that back. When I got into like high school, that's when I started to be more like my father. But he was someone too that suffered with alcoholism, depression, and those types of things. But yeah, it's hard, what I'm saying? It's hard. And that's why I always say sometimes, to be honest, a lot of people are very selfish, a lot of people are very self-absorbed. People are all out for themselves. And so it's just important to pray for that discernment, for God to give you that discernment to know who you should be rocking with and who you shouldn't. um that way you don't have added negativity, and stuff to add on to what you already got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
mm,
think it's important. I think it's important to protect your mental health based on who even family. You know what I'm
that,
saying? Anyone, I always
mm,
say
mm,
family, friend, or foe. If you coming up, listen, if you gonna be all about some extraness and doing this and doing that, I ain't got no room for you, period. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not at
I
all.
ain't got no room for you. It's too much for me. I know me, and I know what my boundaries are. I know what my limit is. And it's not
And
fun to be feeling down all the time. That's not a good feeling.
mm-mm. For me, it's a thing of if he coming in here to take away from what I've already built up, my peace, my happiness, and my joy, then you can go to the left.
Right,
Like you can
right,
keep pushing because I don't need you.
right,
So
right. It's very important to make sure that, I always say, when I talk to my TikTok supporters, making sure that you are physically aligned, physically, mentally, and spiritually. You know, um, that's definitely very important. You know what I'm saying? And, talking to God, it only just takes a little conversation. You know what I mean? To, talk to him and
make
everything like
sure that
that.
mm,
Um, and then also taking acknowledgement. I think some of us, when it comes to some of the things that we allow ourselves to go through, is not because of God, because God been probably trying to pull you away from a situation for a while, but you steady trying to hold on because you saying, I got to hear the Lord's voice. But something that I always say, God may not always come to you this way. You understand? Sometimes God may come to you when you praying for something to be better. Let's say you're on your job, and let's say your job is getting on your nerves, and you like, Lord, please make it better. Please make it better. And He ain't making it better. That means it ain't meant for you to be there. It's time for you to look elsewhere. That's a sign that I feel is it don't always have to be a whisper in your dream,
mm-mm.
something in your ear. No, it could be if your situation isn't changing, that's
It's
an indication
something.
that maybe you need to look into right. You need to look into doing something else. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? So we don't be want, but see, we be want what we want. And that's why a lot of us don't have the things that you want. And you feel as though like maybe your blessings aren't being answered. It's because you're not consulting with
You're not
God. You just
aligning
getting up
yourself
doing
with
what you
God.
want to do. Right,
You're
right.
not putting yourself in alignment.
You're
You are
not you're
putting
not doing
yourself.
that. So that's why it's not going things are not working up. But some of y'all, like I was telling Pastor 23 yesterday, some people just mad at you because you ain't, they don't have the inspiration, determination, and the motivation
Come on,
to
come
do
on,
what you're
28.
doing.
Come on,
You
28
know, you're
days.
reminding them your aura, your presence, and how you're living and what you're doing is reminding them
I'm not
of
there
what they
yet.
could be doing, but they not. So they want to be mad at you, you
Instead
know,
of trying to get themselves together and trying to fix
and
what they
trying to do
not
that
doing,
right. If
they
you don't
want
want
to
to
be
do
mad.
nothing better, right? It's okay if you don't want to do nothing better, but don't
Don't be
be
mad
mad.
at me because I'm trying to better
Mm-mm.
myself.
Pray over yourself. Don't have everybody don't need. Let me tell you something. I firmly, I'm someone who um I don't go to church. I ain't been in church in decades. Well, I'm 28. Okay, let me see what divide about carry over to two. We're gonna say in a couple of decades. Okay. But I know God is here in my heart. God is here in my presence. God is here in my being. And I know I'm blessed and highly favored. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people, I just feel like people just need to take accountability more with certain things. You know what I'm saying? That you're running into. It's
Yeah,
not always, because I hear people say, well, well, why would God let this happen? And why would he let that happen?
it ain't always him. It's you.
It's you the person doing it. The person, you the person doing it, or you the person who's receiving whatever's being done. You the person that keeps staying there when stuff ain't going right. God putting a whole situation in front of you saying leave. But you steady like, man, I ain't trying to see that.
Mm.
So then what he
You up
do?
there act
He'll
like
bring
the
another one.
devil.
He'll bring another one, right? Like leave. Man, I don't want to see that either. And then you're sitting on the phone with your girlfriend or your homeboy complaining about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But you still are deciding to be there. It's a lot of us that is dying. You're living to die. Like you're in that moment of, you're really not really living, you're just there. And no one can get you to get up, get out, and do something, like the song say. No one
Mhm.
can get you to do that but you. You see? So, but I'm not getting ready to surround myself with misery, because I choose not to be in the presence of misery. And the devil ain't busy with me. Okay? That just
Mm-mm.
rhyme right there. Yes, God, bars. Bars. Okay?
Come on.
So I'm not, some people gotta stop making excuses. Stop worrying about what everybody else doing. Because if you think about it, when you put all that energy out there like that, that's why you feeling the way you feeling. But if you don't want more for yourself, that's cool. I just can't. There's certain things that I know God has taken me to that everybody can't go. And that's how I'm leading now. I'm letting God, direct me,
Yes,
on
yes, yes,
what's
yes.
going on. And so some of us just have to take accountability. That's what's lacking a lot. Accountability, procrastination, um, lack of motivation, which could be somewhat procrastination, uh, keeping the wrong type of people around you, trying to please everybody, want to be accepted. That's a big thing.
Ooh, wanting to
Seeing
be accepted.
yes, want to
Just
be
trying to fit
accepted.
in where God is telling you to stand out.
And a lot of that happens
Mhm.
with social media, because you see what people show you. And so you automatically want to be about that particular life or whatever situation. But you don't know really what's going on behind somebody closed doors unless you're living with them. A person can show you
Um,
anything. They can go to any kind of BMW dealership and get a car and have the background look like something else and be chilling in it, acting like they just bought it. And really, it ain't never left the lot. Okay. I'm just
They up
saying.
here, they up here doing the Bow Wow challenge, acting like they getting
Right.
in this car, and that car
Right.
staying right there on the lot. The
Exactly.
owner of the car, the owner of the car, like, all right, are you done flexing? Yeah, 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 I'm done.
Like
Mm.
it's crazy. I'm serious, and it happens. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not always happy. You got to think about it too. A lot of the I'm not going to assume. I'm going to say what I feel, in my opinion, from what I see, some of these influencers, they have to do things with their husband and wives, because if they're getting like sometimes their contracts, like sponsorships and stuff, may say you have to do this with your wife. So you may be living upstairs, and your husband or whoever living downstairs, y'all communicate via text. You don't talk, you don't do nothing. But soon as it's time to get this contract, so y'all can take this picture for whatever type of food or whatever, all of a sudden y'all gonna come together and knock it out. You see what I'm saying? So
Be all
some
lovey dovey.
people are being like that because it's a business.
Money, money, money,
And
money.
right. So it's just important to, and that's something I do now. I don't worry about other stuff. I'm very tunnel vision. There's no peripheral when it comes to my business. But when it comes to my daughter, and stuff like that, I'm my business and stuff, my work. I'm very tunnel vision. I don't look at what other people doing anymore. I used to, and I realized I can't compare myself to someone else because I'm on my own journey. God has his own individual plan for us. So I can't, what's going on over here? I don't know what's going on in the background for that person to get there or whatever. I don't want all that. So sometimes you might not want what somebody got because what they had to do to get it, you
You
know,
don't want me.
right,
So,
right. Hmm.
so another thing, I don't know, 28. Are they ready for the big announcement that we got for them tonight? Are they ready for that big announcement?
I mean, if they ain't ready, they're gonna have to get ready because it's going down. Uh-huh. I said
Exactly.
it's going down.
Exactly. So, as of yesterday, 28 and myself had a conversation, and we have came together, and in 2023, 2023,
Mhm.
you all are about to get a new podcast the James the JHG3 Entertainment side of things. It's not going to be on the Reverend JHG3 Ministries side of things, but the JHG3 Entertainment, which will be the first podcast that will be released under that umbrella. And the podcast is Grown and Sexy Conversation.
Yes. Now, some may say, well, why is it so general? Why is it just, it may not feel like it's, unique or giving a little pop or giving a little this or giving a little that. But see, we don't worry about what the pops and the this and the that. You got to pray. And whatever comes to the mind, it comes to the mind. And it's people can relate to this, something that I see just being on a serious note. And I'm very grateful. Look at me turning like you right here beside. Wait a minute. I got to
Mm.
turn. No, I got to turn this way. I'm very
Yeah.
grateful. But you really ain't on this side. You really on this side. But I'm very grateful for you allowing me this opportunity so much.
You're
And
welcome,
so
beautiful. You're welcome,
we're gonna
beautiful.
do we're gonna do what we do. Grown and sexy conversations. I think that is needed. It's something that's necessary. Of course, you want to be respectful and everything like that. But I think it's a really good podcast. And like I said, I'm very blessed and thankful that you even suggested me, to do the interview. This is my very first interview, y'all. So yeah, 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 yeah. But to do that and then just offering me to be able to be a part of a podcast, I'm like, hey, 2023, here we come.
Exactly. And you all, we have a little conversation already, and she is a Virgo. The Virgos are
Oh, here
kind
we
of
go. Beyonce. That's all I'm gonna say. Beyonce.
the Virgos are kind of like this.
Beyonce.
The Virgos are like
Beyonce.
this. But then you got the Libras.
Beyonce.
You got the Libras. I mean, you can't even.
Beyonce. Virgos. Team
You
Virgo
just
all
can't
day,
even
every
see
day.
us. You can't even see us.
Beyonce.
We all the way up here.
Put the hand up again. Let me knock it. No, let me holler. Anyway, Beyonce.
Hmm.
That's
So,
all I'm saying, Virgos. See, don't let the people see the
mhm.
people. Virgos is the best. But actually, if you are watching this, comment below what your zodiac sign is and what zodiac sign you think is the best. Now, be real now, because if you feel like your zodiac sign ain't it, say that. But that'd be a great conversation to have in the comments. Chat what your
Everybody
sign
knows
is
the
and if you think it's the
Libras
bomb.
run the world. The Libras run the world. All I gotta say is me and your daughter. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay, and I give you that for this moment. But after that, Beyonce, Virgo, Team
Hmm.
Virgo.
Hmm. So, uh, first off, I want to thank you so much for coming on
Oh,
here and
thank you,
blessing us with your beautiful presence.
thank you
28,
so
I
much. Thank you
appreciate
so much.
you. So, what I
Thank
want you to do at this time is for my fans and my followers that listen to us, what I want you to do is I want you to give me your cash app and I'm gonna drop it right here because maybe somebody wants to be a blessing to you.
Oh, oh no, that's definitely thank you,
Yes.
no
Look,
problem.
you know what? I don't even need it. Hold on. Because
Because
what I'm gonna do,
I'm a wait a minute. Yes, I'm very humble. I'm just gracious that I have this opportunity to be seen, just being a part of this, interviewing me, a part of the podcast, but
You
I'm
know,
very
well,
grateful.
since you want to be disobedient, hold on.
I'm not disobedient, y'all. That's just the kind of person that I, am, but I thank everyone.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, y'all. Don't worry about it. I just put it in there. Let
And
me
then it's
see.
all big. Wait a minute, am I right? Yeah. Come on, my lord. That's all. It's fine. It's fine. Thank y'all so much, though, in advance for anyone who were to,
Oh,
But I definitely want to thank you again for allowing me to be on the show. And great things to come in 2023. And is it okay if I could do a plug right quick for my business right
definitely.
quick?
Do
Okay.
it, please.
So visit shop@she-say-he-say.com. Okay. By the time y'all see this, the sale may be over. I'm not sure. But if this is dropped on December 18th, if you go on my website, shop@she-say-he-say.com, you'll be able to get 50% off site wide plus a free gift. Use Shop Pay, make 4 bi-weekly payments, and you'll be able to pay off your merchandise in 2 months. And also right now, spend $75 and you'll be able to get free shipping, but you must use the code at checkout. The 50% off site wide, you don't need a code for that, but it ends December 18th at 11:59 p.m. All right. But
You dropping
I'm
that
always have
tonight. You
I have
dropping this
wonderful
video.
items for the women. Say it
You
again.
dropping this video in the next couple of minutes. So look, it's
Oh,
still
it's
gonna
gonna be
be going.
okay. Well, then, good. So that'll be wonderful. And also I have some wonderful, beautiful pieces, y'all. Like I said, check me out. Thank everyone in advance for supporting. I appreciate it.
And to the fellas, let me just say this: you could always do like what I did, and even though she doesn't have anything for the fellas right now, which I'll talk to her off air about that. I'll deal with her off air about that.
I
But
used to when I had my merch. I used to, but you
mhm,
never know. You never know.
but to the fellas, you can always do like I did and just make a donation to this business. And I've always and my thing is this: I believe in supporting beautiful young African Americans that are out here killing it
Oh,
in
ma'am, I'm
every
telling you.
aspect of
Thank
their
you.
life. And this woman right here is the epitome of killing it in every aspect of life. I appreciate her. I can't wait to work with
Thank you
her
too.
in the
Thank you
coming
so much.
weeks and coming months. So you all get ready. We're gonna drop this video here in the next couple of minutes. So I will see y'all on Monday night for Real Talk Monday. Catch us over there on Facebook and YouTube, and then you can catch the podcast. But y'all, as I always say, as I close out, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we're looking at is bad. God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. I'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
Team Virgo. Bye, y'all.
Mhm.